Are children who star in R-rated movies allowed to watch them when they're done? I say no. All right, so one question that I have been getting all the time here lately, why are all the retailers so low on inventory right now? And there's a couple of reasons why, which is why I decided to turn on the camera and make this video, because a lot of people don't seem to be aware of it. Now, a little background about, what I do for a living in my full-time job. I sell gear for a living. Except I sell gear for a living on the business level, so I sell to, big churches, government accounts, pro studios, concert venues, bars, restaurants, sound engineers, pro studios, touring artists, that kind of stuff. That's what I do. I'm not going to elaborate too much, more than that. But, because I would like to be able to keep my full-time job and my YouTube venture separate, for a number of reasons, conflict of interest being one of them. But that's what I do for a living. And in doing so, part of my job is communicating with vendors about various different products for various different projects going on in various different places all around the country. So because of that, I have been able to gather some information that a lot of people may not be aware of. Not top secret information, just information that doesn't seem to have been shared publicly. Let's start with the fire of the AKM factory over in Japan. It was, I think, November of last year. If you're not, you're probably already familiar with the chip shortage, and this is a big reason why. As far as it relates to our industry, the AKM factory makes components for all kinds. I mean, there's products, so many pieces of gear in this room that likely have components in them that came from the AKM factory. Universal Audio sources from AKM, Allen Heath sources from AKM, Yamaha Commercial, I believe, among many others. They make parts for a lot of companies that make gear. So obviously one part of it is, the inability for companies to be able to source the components that they need. But a bigger part of it that I'm surprised a lot of people don't know about is the logjam going on at the ports of authority here in the United States. If you look, and I encourage you to look it up online, and I have a photo posted here on the screen so that you can see it, and see exactly what I'm talking about, because I found it jaw-dropping, to say the least. What you're looking at here, this is a photo of container ships lined up out into the ocean for miles at the port of LA, trying to get in to unload their cargo. This is what we're working with. It takes I don't know. I'm assuming probably about 4 to 6 weeks or so for a container to pass through the port of authority under normal circumstances. Like go back to 2019, for example. I'm guessing probably 4 to 6 weeks on average. Maybe a little bit longer around busier times of the year. I'm guessing, which seems to make sense. Right now, it's taken 6 months at least for a container to get through. And that is with the workers at the ports all pulling 14, 15, 16-hour days, putting out, those folks are working real hard right now, and they're just completely overwhelmed. And my understanding is every port in the country is like that right now. It's just a huge log jam. At the ports. I was speaking with somebody at Hammond here just a few weeks ago about a particular organ that I have somebody waiting on, and I was calling to follow up on the status of it. And part of what that conversation led to, not necessarily with this particular model, but what that conversation led to was Hammond, who are a pretty well-known organ company. Anybody that's into organs knows Hammond. He said, I'm waiting on 4 containers right now. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. said, I got to assume Walmart and Best Buy are waiting on a couple of thousand. And I bet you that's probably pretty accurate. I think that's a very safe assumption, because, and they're not the, Walmart and Best Buy are not the only big companies, that import a lot of goods from overseas, obviously. So when you think about all this that's going on with the chip shortage, the logjam at the ports, and you also have to consider that all the businesses that lost business last year in 2020 during the pandemic, when everything was locked down, everybody was shut down, businesses were closed, all that stuff that raises the ire of a lot of people when you just so much as bring it up in a conversation. But when you take all those things into consideration, all those businesses are trying to make up for what they lost last year. So they're over-ordering on parts, they're over-ordering on goods, they're over-ordering on products, over-ordering on anything. And if it's something that comes from overseas, and here in 2021, the vast majority of that stuff does, that just compounds the problem even more. So, it'll be fine. It's going to be tough to get a lot of things for a while. Unfortunately, I think inventory issues are going to get worse before they get better. But, it's going to take some time, but it'll all level out and everything will be back to normal one of these days. I don't know when, but I'm assuming 6 months to a year. Probably going to be well into 2022 before we see that. But, yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. In the meantime, you just got, if you need something now, you're just gonna have to work with with what's available today. And for a lot of people, that includes searching the used market and hopefully getting lucky, or maybe even paying a little bit more than they would like to on the used market. Maybe buying a different guitar than they originally had had in mind because the one they wanted wasn't available, but this one that's kind of sort of similar is, things like that. So. We're all going to have to make sacrifices, but, we will come out of this on the other side, I promise. I know it's frustrating. It's frustrating for everybody, including the retailers. Trust me, they want to have these things in stock. We want to have these things in stock for everybody, because if we don't have them in stock, we can't sell it. So, it's been very, very difficult for me to put PA systems together for some of these larger organizations when a lot of the stuff isn't available. And not only is it not available, but it's making it even more difficult for me to meet clients' timelines. So so that's the reason for it. Basically it's all residual effects of COVID and everything that went on in 2020. And like I said, it's going to take some time, but we'll get through it. Just everybody, please be patient. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing and supporting this channel. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching again. We'll see you in the next video.